Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Night Team Call. I'm Jamie Haskin, Diamond Ambassador, here with Emily Gernat, Emerald Ambassador. And we are coming to you guys to talk about vision and goal setting and the whole new year. We're wrapping up the end of 2021 right now and about to head on into 2022. So this is perfect timing to really dive into this kind of stuff. So we are really excited and have some good stuff for you. Right now, I'm going to tell you, make sure you have a pen and paper, please, or you can always watch the recording and rewatch it and take notes and stuff, but there's some good questions, content, action steps, things like that are going to be coming your way. So be ready for that. So we know that this is a great time to reflect and to set goals, right? This is just a common thing for anybody at any point in time. And we learn from our experiences. It's a good time to look back on this past year. We learn from what happens. John Maxwell says that experience alone is not enough, but we need to evaluate experiences. So if you have read any of his books, you may have heard him speak on this a little bit about what he specifically does, but he is extremely intentional about evaluating his own experiences. He does this at the end of every year. He pulls out his calendar, so if you have a planner, anything like that, he pulls his out and looks back on the entire year and he reflects on it. He legit identifies and writes down lists of his events, tasks, meetings, decisions, accomplishments, experiences that stand out, making a list of all these things. And this is what you guys can do as well. Make a list and reflect on all these kind of things. And he writes down also the positive and the negative. And he does this because he knows that he learns more from losing than winning. And I want you guys to think about that. You learn more from losing than winning. So wherever you are at right now, and you think, well, yeah, I got this great stuff, or I got these not so great things that I don't like to think about, or I'm disappointed in myself, or I was wishing that this would happen this way. Turn that mindset around right now and write those things down and identify them, because you learn more from some of those things than your accomplishments altogether, right? So that is important to also identify, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. 6 questions that you can reflect on as you look back on this past year. You can write them down. Question number 1 is, what did I do that I shouldn't have done? What did I do that I should not have done? And diving into that a little bit, I'm going to run through some points to just help you think, and I'm not going to talk too slow because it would take forever, but that could be, what did I spend time on? Was it a priority? What will I do differently this year? So that's all with, what did I do that I shouldn't have done? Second question, what didn't I do that I should have done? What didn't I do that I should have done? That could be, what did I neglect that should have been a priority? What action didn't I take? What will I do differently this year? Question number 3, what is the most important thing I did this year to help someone else? Can you do that again this next year? Could you do it better in the future? What's the most important thing I did this year to help someone else? Question number 4, what did I do this year that helped me grow more than anything else? Is it repeatable? Do I want to make it a regular habit? What else can I do to grow? Question number 5, where do I need to be more intentional? Where do I need to be more intentional? Where did I let things just happen to me instead of making them happen? This is part of this question number 5. What bad habits do I need to break? In what areas do I need to focus more attention? Make important decisions. Take steps in a positive direction. That's question number 5. And the last question, number 6, how can I take things to the next level? So how can I take a good experience and make it somehow better? How can I grow more this year? How can I top last year's accomplishments? How can I exceed my own expectations? Don't settle for good when great is a possibility. I love that John said that. Don't settle for good when great is a possibility. Where could we be settling in our lives by just getting by on the bare minimum, or what is good, or what is expected of me? But instead, where can you exceed those expectations? When can I go for the great, right? So take some time to reflect on last year and look at these questions later. And this is what's going to set you up for intentional growth going into 2022 with a vision and a plan.
That's so good, Jamie. I had to write down notes on that too, because I didn't have all your notes. But I have to get used to saying 2022. That feels really weird right now. But anyways, so dissecting your business and dissecting what happened last year is amazing. And then getting excited for going forward and moving forward into 2022 with a vision and a plan is exciting. You can't move forward if you don't have a grasp in reality of what has been happening and where you currently are. George Washington Carver says, without vision, there is no hope. Simple statement, but it packs a punch, right? When you don't have a vision, it is really hard to be hopeful. So, how do we get started creating a vision? Have you ever felt hopeless? Have you ever felt like you're spinning your wheels, or maybe you have the desire for progress and change, but you can't envision the future where you're not surviving? I've been there. I've been in survival mode, and it can really suck the life out of you. Survival mode is no place to stay. It's not fun, and it really is draining. It narrows your vision and only allows you to focus on the things that are right here in front of you, because it feels like that alone is all you can handle. I just want to take you guys on a little journey and use your imagination a little bit. But imagine somebody that's out on a big lake in the middle of the night, and their boat is sinking. They're taking on water rapidly, and they're all alone out there. No life raft, no life preservers. It's just them, and they're taking buckets of water and chucking buckets of water out of the boat as fast as they possibly can, but they can't keep up. Eventually, the boat sinks and they have to tread water to stay afloat. They're just paddling desperately to try to stay afloat. And finally, in the middle of the night, in the dark, in the middle of the lake, while they're paddling and paddling, a still small voice whispers, "Just lie back and look up." They take a deep breath and allow their body to relax and float up to the surface of the water, where they can see the stars and the moon, and they begin to feel more oriented. They begin to get a sense of direction from there, they can figure out which direction is the closest shoreline. With the stars and moon as their compass, they're able to swim back to shore safely. It's hard to see the shoreline when you're treading water. It's hard to know where to go without a sense of where you are currently. Vision gives you perspective and orientation on where to go from here. So what I wanted to remind you guys all of on this call is to take the time between now and the new year to take a deep breath and to get oriented and to evaluate honestly where you are currently at and where you really, really want to go. And allow people who have already taken this journey and have already made it to the shoreline to speak into you and help you, speak life into you and help grow your vision and help you see what life could be like from the shoreline. With the sense of direction and guidance from people who have already taken that journey, there is absolutely nothing you can't accomplish in this coming year. Jamie, do you have anything to add to that?
I just think that's so powerful in terms of how our perspective can be skewed when we are living in a moment where we're either panicking or just thinking of the negative or thinking of just surviving or whatever we're doing, and how that skewed perspective can make such a big difference in that visual is so huge. I don't know if you were going to say this later. I don't think it was in your notes, but earlier when we were talking, you said this, and I think it was so important. But we're starting and moving into 2022, and if you look at that as a journey, if you don't know where you are going, then you're on a journey to nowhere, is what you said. And that's so true. You don't know where you're going. You're just going somewhere, right? But we all want to have a purpose and go somewhere specific, right? We all have a plan, but we have to be able to articulate that and be intentional in that if we want our actions to move us forward in that. So very good.
Yeah. And so what I wanted to talk about a little bit more is survival mode, and like how to identify if you're feeling like you're in that, and if you're feeling like you're lacking vision. So here's some ideas of what survival mode might look like. Living paycheck to paycheck, working paycheck to paycheck, feeling hopeless, lack of direction or purpose, lack of passion, apathy towards your business or goals. And then in contrast to that, what does working with a vision and purpose look like? It should look like a clear sense of direction, confidence about the actions and steps necessary to move forward, peace, excitement, passion. Those are some things that you would feel and experience when you have vision, when you have clarity on what you're doing going forward. So goal setting for 2022. In our business, it's easy to get caught up in just the month by month work because of the way that things are measured in our business month by month, the contests that we center things around. It can be easy to kind of like shrink our vision and our mindset to a month by month, even day by day process. But shifting your mindset towards the long-term vision will help you create stability, predictable and growing income, in a legacy business that not only pays your bills right now, but allows you to expand so much further beyond that in the future. Mm-hmm. I know you've experienced that yourself, Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely, in terms of just looking back on the journey and where I started, it was something like I've mentioned before, Christian education was something that this helped me pay or helped us do, and what it created in terms of freedom. But diving more into really what that is, it's so much deeper. Like it was so many feelings and thoughts that come with that. It was the conversations that I had, that my husband and I had on repeat, deciding on whether this was an if we can afford it thing, or it is happening and how can we make it happen. And it was clashing on that, and it was stress, and it was tears, and it was worry, and it was all these things. So when you look at the things that can be accomplished, whether that's paying your bills or whether it's the stability or something that makes an impact on your family, it's not always just that thing, but it's all the feelings, all the emotions, all the stress, all the worry, everything that comes with that you are free from. So, identifying when you're setting these goals and being able to articulate some of those things that really can make such a huge, huge difference. It did for us. And I know everyone has their own examples, but just living through that, to diamond and seeing that come through in so many different ways, is truly a blessing. And it's a blessing seeing that ripple effect that has. In terms of how we focus our mindset on that short-term or long-term can make all the difference on if we continue and if we get there at the end. So how, or even if we overcome obstacles or failures, because they will come, but it matters if we can even overcome, or how we overcome them, if where our focus and where our mindset is. So if we're on short-term, then if you failed or struggled to reach the one thing you are focused on, then that's it, right? You're just, okay, that's what I'm focused on. That's what I didn't get. And then your mindset is this even worth it? Or I'm not good at it, or this isn't for me, or I can't, right? Your action is something that's of greater importance that month gets your attention, or you're stressed. So I have to alleviate the stress. So I'm going to let go of this one thing, right? This is the short term of what you're focused on. But if you're in the long term, the bigger vision, and you have those big goals that we're going to be talking about later here, then you have that career mindset versus a temp job that you're just quick doing for the weekend, or your mindset is the lifelong learning process. It's how can I learn from this struggle? It's what can I improve in next? Right? You have the right mindset. That action is you're anticipating and you're normalizing failure and struggles. A missed goal or something negative that happens, it doesn't break you because you're working for the next 5 years and for the next 10 years. You're not just working for that moment or that month, right? So that is the difference that's going to make it whether, we get through those tough things. So before we go into, Emily's going to go into some very specific steps and action steps to give you guys, but whatever happened last month or in 2021, it does not define your pace or what you are capable of. So if you were planning on being further in your business or reaching your goals, or if you weren't as consistent as you would have liked, or maybe it's personal, maybe it's what you grew up believing about yourself, or what others have told you about yourself over and over, what you think about yourself, whatever it is, that does not have to define you. That does not define what you are capable of, right? It does not set your pace. It doesn't determine your level of success. You get to choose. You get to move forward and choose your goals. You get to choose your action steps, what you believe, what you tell yourself, what you do or what you do not do. You get to choose. So we are going to move forward and get into some specifics here. Em, take it away.
All righty. So taking action, from now into the new year, there's a lot of things that you can cover and do to set your year up to be a success. So I have 6 things to specifically focus on. Number 1, carve out time to sit and imagine, dream, and think about the life that you want in the future. What kind of feelings are associated with accomplishing that vision? I know for me personally, I associated financial stability with peace and empowerment. I knew that when I accomplished those things, when I had financial stability, I would feel peace and I would feel empowerment. And I've gotten a glimpse of that right now. And I can tell you guys, like, the vision that you're working towards and the feelings that are associated with accomplishing those things are worth it. What kind of feelings come up for you when you envision the life that you want in the future that you have? Number 2, bring your vision to life by creating a vision board that you see every day. Gather up pictures. You can do this with magazines the old-fashioned way, or you can get on Pinterest or just get online and search things that you love. Like, it could be a house, it could be property. For me, it's like horses and all the things that have to do with horses. Think about the future that you want, where you want to be living, what the style of the house you want to be in, things that you're going to do with your family, vacations you're going to take. Think about those things and help bring them to life by saving pictures and putting them, it could be the background on your phone, it could be the background on your computer screen, somewhere that you're going to see it every single day and remind yourself of where you're headed. Number 3.
And sorry, can I pop in here? If you've done that before, do it again, right? I know a lot of you guys might have been here for a while and you've done 1 or 2, but start fresh and do it again. Because we've all, again, we're back into like reflecting on last year, going into the new year. We all have to redo this and reflect and gather these things. So create another vision board. And that's a good way to check in with your team or your upline on that too, and share them.
For sure. You can never do this too much. I feel like I've done this at least half a dozen times since I started Plexus, and it's been helpful to redo it every single time. Number 3, assign numeric value to what it will take to accomplish the things on your vision. What kind of monthly income would you need to bring in, or yearly income? What kind of savings do you want to have? What kind of, or how much money do you want to put in retirement or investments? Put a dollar amount on those things so that you know specifically what you're working towards. If you don't have specific goals, it's really hard to work towards those things. So figure out what your dream life is going to cost, like physically cost, and then write all those things down, like crunch the numbers, figure it out. That way you know exactly what you're working towards. Number 4, work backwards from there. So you have this big goal and this big vision, but how you get there is the small daily action steps that you take. So you have to start from the big vision and work all the way backwards to your daily income producing activity. So how many messages are you going to have to send? How many posts are you going to have to post? How many people are you going to have to talk to every day? How many leaders are you going to need to create on your team? How many people total do you need on your team to make the income you want to make to live the life that you want to live? Break it down into numbers and people that you can get a handle on. That way you can wrap your mind around what it's actually going to take to get there, and then break it down into small enough steps where you know exactly what you need to do each day to get to where you want to go.
You guys, that is so empowering. I just want you guys to realize that there's so many steps there, and that's just a very small example, but breaking that down, I mean, that goes into our activity that we're doing, right? It goes into personal growth and leadership. It goes into developing people, all the things. So wherever you are at on this call, whatever rank, it all applies, but it is empowering because it gives action steps to where you're going. It goes like, okay, say my vision is huge, right? But sometimes that can seem so far off. It can seem so far away. And how can where I'm at way over here, really, truly, how can that happen? But it connects all the dots. So like Em said, it's like working backwards, and it really does connect. It really does add up, because that is as simple as that. That's how we did when we started. We were sharing and it all compiled, and you started with just helping 3 people. And if you can help 3 people, you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can help someone else do what you just did. So it really does come down to something so simple. But if we are intentional with the simple things and the important things, the small things that are important, that adds up, and that creates and builds to your vision. So very powerful to be intentional in even those little things to identify. So.
Exactly. And when you really start thinking about these things and breaking them down and writing them down on paper, it just takes the mystery out of it. Because I think when you first are starting, or even when you've been in this for a little while and maybe you're not where you want to be yet, it can feel mysterious. Like, how do I get to diamond? It feels mysterious. It feels like, well, I just don't understand how they get there, or how I'm supposed to go from where I'm at now to diamond. This is how you do it. You work backwards into all of this until you break it down into bite-sized goals that you do every single day. Number 5, give it a timeline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Deadlines help structure the level of activity that will be required to meet your goal. Just for example, if somebody wanted to go silver in 3 days versus going silver in 30 days, their activity level is going to look totally different. The person wanting to go silver in 3 days is going to reach out to as many people as they possibly can. They're going to get on the phone with people. They're going to sign people up on the phone. They're going to try to close the deal faster. They are going to send more messages, post more posts, and do it all in a crunched amount of time. The person that's doing it in 30 days has the same goal. They just want to go silver, but they're going to stretch that all that activity out over 30 days instead of 3. And so the level of activity is going to look different depending on what your timeline and deadline is that you want to reach. But be realistic about the activity that it's going to take. So if you have really, really big goals in a really, really teeny tiny time frame, then get ready for some major, major activity. Number 6, write or say, or both, affirmations, and affirmations that should be statements about who you are, and they should reflect your personal values. So examples of these would be, I am a disciplined entrepreneur. I am a courageous leader. I am an empathetic leader. I am authentic and genuine. I follow through with my commitments. I trust my instincts and I act on them. I am a trustworthy friend. These are just some ideas, but you can see in those statements, you're making statements about who you are, like who you are as a human. And I would encourage you to stay away from like statements of good or bad. Like, I am a good leader is too like arbitrary. Like, what is a good leader? Define that further. What's a good leader to you? And then break that down into more specific affirmations. When you know where you're going and you know who you are, and you know the steps that you need to take to get there, then there's no mountain you can't scale. There's no goal too big. There's no dream or vision too big. When you know who you are, you know where you're going, and you know the steps that you need to take. And having clarity on those things is a blessing. Giving clarity to your team on those things is a blessing because it removes all the doubt. It removes all the fear. There's clarity. They know where they're going. They're oriented. They've got that vision for the future and where they're going. Don't keep your vision to yourself. Involve your friends and your family, your sponsor, especially, and help your downline create their visions as well. Talk about it. Make it a part of the conversation frequently. Talk about their vision. Ask about their vision board. Help them find pictures. Dream about it. Think about it. Talk about it a lot. Because if you have it as part of a regular conversation with your people, with your sponsor, then they know, like, for instance, if you talk to your sponsor about this all the time, they know where you want to go to, and they can encourage you in that and keep that in front of you. Jamie, anything to add on that stuff?
Yes. And you guys, your vision is big and bright. I want to just say, because you guys, some of you might be new, some of you have been around for a while and but what we have with Plexus, just want to throw this out here at this call because it has to be said. It is unique. This team is unique. This company, the compensation plan, the leadership, the vision, products that people need daily for young and old. If you have a gut, you need these products, right? So this is something that people need, and people you are following and you are with this team. You are people who have done this before, right? Who have gone to the top, I should say, right? So there are systems that work. You're learning from people who have done this. We're in this together. We're linking arms. It is not something you are doing alone. So your vision is big. If you're wavering, build your belief and borrow belief, because you absolutely can go to the top and you can bring people with you. So if you are here and that's what you are doing, again, there is no timeline from where there's an expectation of when that should happen, right? There's people that have done it in less than a year, and there's people who've done it in 6 years and 7 years and whatever. People still working at it. So whatever that is, if you know and you are clear on your belief and where your vision is, then is it worth it to work hard and to stick with it? If you hit it in a year or in 10 years, is it worth it to see what your vision and your future is going to be? It absolutely is. And everybody that has been there and has done that will tell you this. So anyway, I just wanted to quick add that in, and all of this stuff together that we're talking about tonight, it is very much focused on you in terms of your vision, your goals, right? And it should be, it needs to be focused and personal, so that it'll be worth it for you to work for it, right? You have to be able to have some focused why in vision and why you want to do this for it to be worth to be consistent and to work hard and to work through the ups and downs, right? But beyond that, it is also 100% about other people too, because everything that you are doing and that you are going to continue to do with this impacts the people around you. It impacts your family, your friends, your children, if you have children, your community, who you are interacting with, that absolutely impacts. So you following through on the action steps that you are going to set in place and the goals that you're going to set in place for 2022, and you moving forward with purpose and intentionality, it matters because you are going to grow from it. You're going to learn from it. You are learning from the failures even more than the accomplishments. And we talked about that. So each moment, each day, the year, all the time frame, you are becoming. All right. Your spouse, your kids, they need who you are becoming. Your current team, your future team needs who you are becoming. You have value, you have influence, you have impact on the people around you. So all of this matters for you, but all of this also matters for all the people around you and who you are going to help along the way. So grow yourself and grow your impact. So that's what we got for you, Emily. Anything else?
No, that's the perfect note to end on. I'm just excited to get into it. So
yay.
Excited for 2022.
Thanks for hopping on, guys. And we will see you next year. See ya.
Yeah.